What's good, baby? Back again for another edition of the Rookie Draft Profile Series. Whatever the hell I'm calling it, man. Rookie Draft Profile, Rookie Profile. Y'all know what it is. Destination Devi. We talk college prospects. We're getting you ready for the NFL draft for your rookie drafts. But last week we talked about a punishing, bruising running back out of North Carolina, Javonte Williams, on the very first installment of this series. But in this episode, in this show, we're going to talk about perhaps the most explosive running back prospect in this class. And I say perhaps, I think he is. I think he's the most explosive runner in this 2021 class. And I'm talking about Clemson senior running back Travis Etienne. We have heard and talked about Travis Etienne for years now. A lot of us thought Etienne was going to declare for the 2020 NFL draft. And had he done that, man, it would just, if he and Najee Harris would have been a part of this 2020 rookie running back class, we're talking about one of the greatest classes of all time. This class with Swift, with Akers, with Jonathan Taylor, and then those found gems like Antonio Gibson and James Robinson, absolutely outstanding. So when you're looking at who Travis Etienne is, and remember, in these rookie profiles, we're here to tell a story. Let's paint a picture of this player, who they were, what they became in college, and what they can potentially become at the NFL level. So coming out of high school, Travis Etienne was a four-star recruit, right? Highly rated recruit, four-star guy according to 247sports.com. He was the 15th ranked running back in the 2017 recruiting class. Notable guys in that class: the aforementioned Cam Akers, Jonathan Taylor, J.K. Dobbins, DeAndre Swift, Trey Sermon, Chuba Hubbard, who those two will be a part of this 2021 NFL draft class, as well as the number one ranked running back in 2017, Najee Harris. And you're going to hear Etienne versus Najee Harris from now, hell, until the start of the NFL season. So they were a part of the same 2017 running back class. Very, very talented running back class. Coming out of high school, we know Etienne is explosive. We know he's got that speed, and it was verified in high school. Verified 40-yard dash time of 4.43, vertical jump of 37 inches, showing that sort of explosion. And that stuff translates on the field. I mean, you see it when you watch Etienne play. The 4 years that he was at Clemson were, outstanding. And that's putting it mildly. Travis Etienne was and should go down as one of the best running backs in college football history, right? In 2020, he was second in the ACC in rush attempts and fifth in rushing yards, and this was sort of like a down season for Etienne. He did lead all running backs in the ACC in receptions and yards, which we'll get to that story a little bit later. So let's just take you through a quick snapshot of Etienne's career at Clemson. Freshman season, true freshman season, he led the team in rushing. He only had 5 receptions, but he led the team in rushing yards, was tied for the lead in rushing attempts with Tavion Feaster. Comes back his sophomore season after leading that backfield in rushing yards and absolutely destroys everybody in the ACC and damn near everybody in college football. He was 5th in the NCAA in rushing yards and 1st in the ACC. Junior season, coming off of that outstanding sophomore year, he destroyed everybody again. He was 7th in the country in rushing yards, 2nd in rushing yards in the ACC, and then this past season as a senior, 17th in the country in rushing yards and 5th in the ACC. So again, a little bit of a dip in production for Travis Etienne. And when I say his season was a little disappointing, it's because of the standard that we put him in, right? He is an elite collegiate running back, so the standard for players like Travis Etienne are extremely high. 17th in the country in rushing yards is outstanding, but when you're talking about a player who was top 7, 2 years prior to that, we wanted to see a little bit more out of Travis Etienne in the rushing department, but he did make up for some of that in the receiving game, okay? He finished his Clemson career as the all-time leading rusher in ACC history. More rushing yards than A.J. Dillon, Dalvin Cook. He beat out some guy named Ted Brown from 1975. Wasn't alive during that time. So other notable guys: Lamar Jackson is 7th in ACC history in rushing yards, which is crazy. Warwick Dunn, Andre Williams, James Conner. So Travis Etienne sits atop the pantheon of all-time great running backs in ACC history. So he put together an amazing career at the University of Clemson. So what type of player is Etienne? Everybody just talks about speed. I think what's more impressive than his straight line speed, which he is a straight line speedster, right, is his acceleration. And Etienne's not running that, right? He's not that fast. But when you're talking about his acceleration, I think that has to be one of his most redeeming qualities, one of his best attributes, one of his best traits that will translate to the NFL, right? Jamal Charles in 2008, part of that same running back class as Chris Johnson, ran a 4.38, and I think that's about where we'll see Travis Etienne clock at the NFL Combine this year, is that 4.36, 4.37 to low 4.4 range. I don't think he's going to run anything slower than like a 4.42. He's a fast running back. He's explosive, right? If you guys have not seen the video of Travis Etienne versus Isaiah Simmons, they ran, I believe it was during the fall camp, going into 2019 season, and Isaiah Simmons, top 10 pick of the Arizona Cardinals, athletic freak. I believe he ran a 4.39 40-yard dash at the Combine, and Simmons and Travis Etienne were literally neck and neck in this video. That speaks to the explosive nature and the athletic freak that Isaiah Simmons is. But if Isaiah Simmons ran a 4.39, Travis Etienne, there's a good chance he's going to crack sub 4.4 40-yard dash. And we know that in the NFL, 40-yard dash time is not indicative of fantasy football success or NFL success. Just because you're fast doesn't mean you're going to be good, right? So what else does Travis Etienne do besides have elite acceleration? And when I say elite, it's elite. He's got elite acceleration. I think his best attribute, the thing that he does better than probably almost any running back in this class, is his contact balance. And you hear that a lot. What the hell is contact balance? It's an ability to absorb contact. It's ability to absorb contact, stay on the right trajectory, and continue to matriculate the ball down the field. That's what he does. When you think contact balance, look no further than Alvin Kamara, who has probably the best contact balance in the NFL right now. And it's kind of crazy because Travis Etienne at 5'10", 5'11", his weight has been the biggest mystery. We don't know if he's 199 like Clemson reported or 210 like it says on other websites. So seeing what he checks in at the Combine is going to be interesting. But for a player that's not a huge running back to be able to absorb that power and keep as much speed as he does is truly, I think he has the best contact balance in this 2021 rookie class, running back class. It's outstanding. Time and time again, you see Travis Etienne take these shots, roll his shoulders, dip his shoulders, keep his balance, and then move the ball down the field. It's really impressive. And some stats to back that up. In 2018, in his true sophomore season, he was 6th in the country in yards after contact per attempt, minimum of 150 carries, averaging 4.33 yards after contact. He was also tied for 13th in the country with 52 broken tackles on the season. He was 3rd in the country with 32 carries that went at least 15 yards, only trailing Darrell Henderson and Jonathan Taylor. Those 32 carries went for 981 yards. 32 carries, broke of 15-plus yards, 981 yards off of those 32 carries. 6th in the NCAA in yards after contact per attempt. Outstanding for a true sophomore. He follows that up. In his true junior season in 2019, he led the country in yards after contact per attempt with 5.07, the only running back in the NCAA with a minimum of 150 attempts to hit the 5-yard average per rush attempt after contact. The only one. No other running back had 5 yards per attempt after contact with a minimum of 150 carries. 91 broken tackles, also led the country. Just ridiculous. That's why so many people thought it was crazy that he came back for his senior season while finishing top 10 in the same category for running backs in receiving yards. Outstanding. He was 6th in the country with 27 rushes of 15-plus yards. Those went for 800-plus yards. So again, showing those explosive plays, showing his ability to absorb contact and get the ball downfield. He was a stud. He led the country in both categories. Coming back this senior season, I continue to say a little disappointing with the high expectations that we have for Travis Etienne. He 5.07 to 3.84, which is still really good. While breaking 43 tackles, he had 15 carries that went at least 15 yards this season for 371 yards. So we saw that kind of dip down a little bit, right? He was at that super high threshold of 32 that went 15 plus yards, then 27, and this season it was 15. For his career, he had 3 straight seasons finishing in the top 6 in yards after contact per attempt and 2 top 6 finishes with 15 plus yard runs. So explosive, contact balance, good. Travis Etienne is legit. Another one of his strengths that I enjoy is his effort in the pass protection game, right? He's a player that all the technique may not be there right now, but he isn't scared. Like, he doesn't win every pass pro rep, but he's not afraid to put his nose in there. You've seen him stonewall some people from time to time, and those are things that can be coached up at the next level. If you've got an attitude that you're not afraid to make a hit, you're not afraid to put your nose in there and help protect your quarterback, all the other technical aspects of that can be cleaned up at the next level. So I really enjoy his work in the pass protection game and how well he's improved in the receiving game. Travis Etienne, going into the 2019 season, like literally like the week before the season was supposed to kick off, there was this interview where Travis Etienne basically was asked about his usage in the receiving game, which his first 2 seasons, he didn't do much in the receiving game, and he was asked about that, and he essentially said like he was afraid to catch the ball, or when he's in his routes, he gets nervous and drops the ball or some shit like that. And maybe it was taken out of context, but that's what he said, right? But then what he did in 2019 was clear that up. 30 plus receptions in 2019. And then we see this year in 2020, he had over 45 receptions. So he cleaned, not only did he improve in the receiving game, he absolutely dominated, going over 580 receiving yards in 2020. So his improvement and involvement in the receiving game, that's what we want in fantasy. I mean, we look at a player like Derrick Henry, 2,000 rushing yards on the season, and because he does not receive the work in the receiving game, still didn't finish his RB1, which it seems like if you have 2,000 rushing yards, you should be the running back 1 in fantasy football. But if you're not catching passes, that limits your upside. Travis Etienne can definitely do that. So when you're talking about his strengths, receiving game, pass pro, his ability to absorb contact, his contact balance, his acceleration and speed, I mean, those are 4 outstanding pluses for a player. What the hell are his weaknesses? So for me, 2 of my biggest issues with Travis Etienne just happen to be the 2 attributes that I personally value the most at the running back position. Like in my personal rankings, patreon.com/allgas, I have film score grades, and the 2 attributes for the running back position that I place the highest premium, the highest weighted score on is vision and agility. Vision and footwork, vision and agility. And those are 2 areas where Travis Etienne seems to struggle at the most. He doesn't have a ton of wiggle, right? Like, he's more of a straight line runner that has power, and because he's so fast, because he hits top end speed so quick, he's able to generate a lot of power because of the speed behind his running, right? But he's not going to break you down in the hole. He is not going to make you miss in the phone booth. Every now and then you see a little wiggle out of him, but consistently, whatever direction Etienne is going, that's probably the direction he's going to stay in. He does not have a lot of wiggle. He does not have a lot of short area agility. And his vision, man, so many times I have seen him run dead up the offensive lineman's back. And that's what you don't want. You can't. That's so frustrating for offensive linemen, for the running back to be slamming into their backs, right? He's got to improve his vision. And I've talked to a lot of people that played the game, that played in college, some guys that played in the league, and vision is really instinctual. Like, some backs either have it or they don't. I'm not saying he can't improve upon those things, but right now, where we stand today, his lateral quickness, his footwork, and his vision, and all of those things kind of coincide with one another, are his biggest weaknesses. And that's part of the reason why I prefer a couple of other backs to Travis Etienne, despite his elite athleticism and acceleration and his speed and his contact balance. If you can't see the hole, if you can't make the right cuts in the open field, that significantly decreases how effective you can be in the next level. So when we're talking about Etienne at the next level, I believe his projected draft capital is round 1 to round 2, like late round 1, mid to late round 1, he's not escaping the second round. He's going to be a top 2 round NFL draft pick. Therefore, for us in fantasy, he's definitely locked and loaded first round. I don't care if you're in a single quarterback league, super flex league, he's going to be a first round pick. Y'all know, I said at the top of the show, I despise high-end player comps, and I'm going to continue to say that because everybody that asks me to comp a player, they always, is he Christian McCaffrey? Is he Saquon Barkley? Is he Nick Chubb? No. I despise it. But in this instance, I've got sort of a high-end comp and probably a more realistic comp that people are not going to like, but I don't give a damn what you like. I'm just telling you what I see. And I think he's a mixture of Raheem Mostert, who is one of the fastest running backs in the NFL, according to NFL Next Gen Stats, in-game mile per hour tracker, and Alvin Kamara, right? The Alvin Kamara part, and I say it's like 70% Mostert, 30% Kamara. The contact balance. He's the best in this class, I believe. I think he's the best running back at absorbing contact and keeping his balance and matriculating the ball downfield. And Alvin Kamara is the best in the NFL at doing that. Raheem Mostert, more of a straight line speedster that has been effective. He's like Raheem Mostert, Alvin Kamara, if Raheem Mostert had draft capital. If Raheem Mostert was picked in the first round and was given a starter's role for the first 5 years of his career, you splice him with a little bit of Alvin Kamara, there you go. You have Travis Etienne. Some team fits that I think Etienne would smash in. I know Pittsburgh needs a running back, but I do think a more physical running back just fits Pittsburgh a little bit better. But the Arizona Cardinals, I think he with Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury would be a match made in heaven. Get Kenyon Drake out of the way. Etienne in Arizona, match made in heaven. The San Francisco 49ers, I just talked about Mostert. If you're getting an upgraded version of Mostert mixed with a little Kamara with the 49ers, smash spot right there. You draft Etienne, roll into the season with Etienne, Jeff Wilson, with Kittle, with Ayuk, with Debo, maybe a new quarterback. Would San Francisco pull that off like in the second round? They've got the draft capital to do it. Unless they trade it for Deshaun Watson, move up for a quarterback, who knows? The New York Jets, they need a running back. Frank Gore ain't it. LaMichael Pirine ain't it. The other guy, Cannon or Ty Johnson, not it. And the Miami Dolphins, I believe that he would be a good fit in any of those 4 teams. And honestly, wherever he falls, I think he's going to be a very good player in the NFL and in fantasy. I think it's a little, he's an outstanding prospect. He is an outstanding running back prospect, and he 100% should be and will be a weapon at the NFL level, even if he's not a volume-based running back. I don't see him as some running back that's going to tote the rock 22, 25 times a game, but I think his work in the passing game, his acceleration, and some of the attributes that he does well, he's going to be a phenomenal running back at the next level. So if you want to find out where I have Travis Etienne ranked amongst the entire 2021 rookie class, as well as compared to some of his current and future NFL counterparts, come on over, man. Come join the squad. $7 a month. Patreon.com/allgas for my full 2021, 2022, 2023, and I'm working on my 2024 rankings right now, as well as Cornerstone rankings, access to the best Discord community in fantasy football. We live stream weekly, go through all 22 film breakdowns, and talk football all the time. It's an outstanding place. I appreciate you joining me for this one. I'll catch you next week for another NFL draft prospect. I'm out. Peace.